The morning sun filtered through the blinds of the clinic, casting long shadows across Dr. John's desk. He sat across from a patient who looked perfectly healthy, yet the lab results between them told a tragic, silent story. Dr. John looked up, his expression grave but compassionate. He knew this was a scene playing out in thousands of homes across America. "Did you know," Dr. John began, his voice calm yet commanding, "that a single vegetable sitting innocently on your dinner plate could be quietly destroying your kidneys right now? Most seniors I talk to in my practice believe that kidney damage is something that only happens to people with severe diabetes, or perhaps those who eat far too much salt. They think they'll get a warning, a sharp pain, a change in color, a signal." He leaned forward, placing his hands on the desk. "But the truth is far more unsettling. Your kidneys are under attack every day by foods you trust, foods you've eaten your entire life, foods you've been told are superfoods. And the most alarming part, the destruction is silent. There is no pain, no early symptom, no warning bell that the millions of tiny filters inside your kidneys are being clogged, inflamed, and chemically burned from within. If you are over 60, he continued, looking directly into the camera as if speaking to every senior at home, your blood vessels have narrowed, your filtration rate has slowed, and medications stay in your system longer. At this age, even a healthy vegetable can suddenly become a dangerous trigger for high blood pressure or toxic buildup. I've seen patients go to bed feeling fine and wake up facing kidney numbers they never imagined. They all say the same heartbreaking words, 'I didn't know, no one told me.' Today, that changes. Let's uncover the 5 vegetables quietly destroying your kidneys and the truth every senior in America deserves to hear. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip made for you. If you're ready for the truth, type 1 in the comments below.
Let's start with something almost every health-conscious American loves, Dr. John said, picking up a bunch of fresh, vibrant greens. Spinach. It's been a staple in our households for generations. We put it in salads, blend it into smoothies, and serve it alongside our Sunday roast, believing we're doing our bodies a favor. But for those of us past 60, this familiar green can become a dangerous trap. He walked toward the window, looking out as if remembering a specific face. Beneath that propeller lies a massive concentration of oxalates. In a young body, these are processed and flushed. But in aging kidneys, oxalates act like microscopic shards of glass. They scrape, scar, and clog the delicate filters inside you. I still remember Helen, a 74-year-old widow from Florida. After she lost her husband, she wanted to stay strong for her grandkids. She started every morning with a giant spinach smoothie. 8 months later, she was in my ER, doubled over in agony. When I showed her the imaging, clusters of jagged stones blocking both kidneys, she broke down. She cried, "Dr. John, I was just trying to be healthy. I thought I was doing everything right." But the silent assault doesn't stop with greens, Dr. John continued, his tone shifting. Next, we have the ultimate American comfort food, potatoes. We see them as harmless, but inside your body, they act with the force of a biochemical storm. Their starch converts almost instantly into glucose.
For a senior, this surges into the blood, making it thick and sticky, like forcing heavy syrup through a fine mesh strainer. "I cared for a man from Minnesota named Martin," he shared, a sad smile touching his lips. "He lived alone and relied on potatoes because they were easy to chew and cheap. When his routine blood work showed his kidney function crashing into the danger zone, he was stunned. He looked at me with such honest confusion and said, 'But Dr. John, they're just potatoes.' That's the tragedy. The foods we trust the most can often be the ones that betray our aging bodies the fastest."
Next, we have to look at a staple found on nearly every American table, Dr. John said, holding up a bright, juicy tomato. Tomatoes appear so refreshing and innocent. We put them in our sandwiches, our pasta sauces, and our summer salads. For many seniors, a tomato feels like the safest choice, a light, water-rich vegetable. But what most people over 60 never hear is that tomatoes can become deeply dangerous when your kidneys begin to slow down. He sat back down, his voice lowering to emphasize the gravity of the situation. The real threat here isn't a chemical or a pesticide, it's potassium. Now, potassium is essential for life, but your kidneys are the gatekeepers. As we age, those gates don't open as wide as they used to. When you overload a slowing system with the high potassium found in tomatoes, it begins to back up into your bloodstream. And that is where the danger shifts from your kidneys to your heart. I'll never forget Jefferson, an 82-year-old retiree from Ohio, Dr. John recalled, leaning in. Jefferson was a proud man who took his health seriously. He ate a large tomato salad every single night, convinced it was keeping his heart strong. One evening, while sitting in his favorite armchair, he felt a strange flutter in his chest. Before he could call for help, he collapsed. At the hospital, his potassium levels were so high, they were literally short-circuiting his heart's electrical rhythm.
His heart was misfiring, struggling to beat against the chemical imbalance. When I sat by his bed the next day, Jefferson was shaken. He whispered, "I thought I was eating for my heart, Doc." It was a heartbreaking irony. His kidneys, weakened by years of silent aging, simply couldn't process the healthy food he was giving them. The vegetable he trusted had become a silent saboteur, pushing his heart toward a crisis he never saw coming. If you are over 60, especially if you take blood pressure medication, you must realize that even a tomato demands caution. Your heart and your kidneys work in a delicate balance. Don't let a simple salad tip the scale toward disaster.
Now, we must discuss a category of food that is deeply rooted in our American heritage, Dr. John said, his voice taking on a more urgent tone. Pickled vegetables. Whether it's the crisp pickle beside your deli sandwich, the tangy peppers on your salad, or the sauerkraut you've enjoyed at every family barbecue for decades, these foods feel like a small, harmless joy. They are nostalgic, reminding us of simpler times and shared meals. But for a senior, these jars hold a hidden threat your kidney function faster than almost anything else. He stood up and began to pace, the sound of his footsteps echoing the seriousness of his words. The danger isn't the vegetable itself, it's the brine. To keep these vegetables crunchy and flavorful, they are submerged in staggering amounts of sodium and acid. When you were 40, your kidneys were like high-powered engines, capable of flushing out excess salt with ease. But as you cross into your 60s and 70s, that engine begins to wear down. Your kidneys lose their speed. Instead of removing that sodium, they begin to hold on to it. I'll never forget a patient named Walter, an 80-year-old from North Carolina, Dr. John shared, pausing to look out the window. Walter was a retired teacher, a sharp man who loved his routine. Every night with dinner, he'd have a couple of pickles. He thought they were just vegetables with a bit of zing.
But over the months, his blood pressure began to climb to levels that medication couldn't control. His rings grew tight on his fingers, and his ankles puffed up until he could barely walk. One morning, he collapsed from fluid overload. When I saw him in the hospital, he was terrified. He looked at his swollen legs and asked, "How did this happen so fast?" I had to tell him the hard truth. His kidneys were drowning in salt. Every bite of those pickles had forced his body to hold on to water, thickening his blood and scarring the delicate vessels inside his kidneys. Walter looked at me in total shock and said, "I thought it was just a side dish." For a senior, it's never just a side dish. It is a chemical burden your body can no longer afford to carry. If you want to keep your independence, you have to recognize the salt trap before it's too late.
We have traveled through the hidden dangers lurking in our kitchens, Dr. John said, his voice softening as he sat on the edge of his desk, looking directly into the camera. But I don't share these stories to frighten you. I share them to empower you. Protecting your kidneys at this stage of your life is about more than just numbers on a lab report. It is about protecting your independence. It is about ensuring you have the energy to play with your grandkids, the clarity to enjoy your hobbies, and the strength to live life on your own terms. He took a deep breath, his expression filled with genuine care. The truth is unavoidable. The kidneys that carried you through decades of hard work, family challenges, and life's adventures are no longer the silent powerhouses they once were. They are like a vintage car. They can still go the distance, but they require a different kind of fuel and a much gentler hand. What was a harmless snack at 40 can become a medical crisis at 70. But remember, awareness is your greatest shield. Every small adjustment you make starting today, choosing fresh over pickled or reaching for a low-potassium fruit instead of that daily tomato, is a victory. It is an act of love for your future self.
You aren't giving up foods, you are choosing vitality. You are choosing to keep your body in balance so it can continue to serve you faithfully for years to come.
I have seen patients turn their health around simply by respecting the limits of their aging bodies. You have the power to do the same. I want to hear from you now. This journey is one we take together, Dr. John concluded with a warm smile. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned today in the comments below. Let's build a community where we support each other in embracing these truths. If this message resonated with you, please type 1 and share this video with someone you love. Your kidneys have served you for a lifetime. Now it's your turn to serve them. Thank you for watching, and here's to your health and your freedom.